ticklish position because everybody has an agenda, you know. Everybody has an agenda. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, the agenda is not about what's best. It's about wanting to be right, wanting to somehow play this numbers game where I have more people supporting me than whoever else. Like, these are the kind of things that have really made the discussion a bit difficult to navigate. The whole issue of misinformation and things. Like, for instance, again, I understand and I believe that there's so many categories of people who may not want to take the vaccine, right? So I don't like to call names either, because sometimes you lump people into a category which really it doesn't really describe their position. But I think we're at a point now where a lot of people who have decided not to have really made up their minds that they would rather risk the virus than take the vaccine, and that's the position. And I think the argument, the discussion needs to really move in that direction. Like, hey, the government is trying to protect you, but at the same time, do you want to be protected? And I do believe that there's a mystic position for the health officials and the governments, recognizing that there's some among us who can't take the vaccine.
Which is why
and
I
so
don't get why
and
they're
so
not focusing on that as well. But anyway, continue.
Who you mean? The people who are hesitant, the government, or who?
Well, like, when people keep saying, okay, we're going to implement these things that are going to, exclude people who aren't vaccinated. It's just not people who refuse to get vaccinated. It's people who aren't able to get vaccinated. So I don't know if thought is being put there to figure out a way to have these people at least have some type of normalcy, because that's what they said that we were going to get back to, some sort of normalcy. But normalcy can't just mean for vaccinated people.
I think in a lot of cases, though, what I've been seeing has been persons who have medical or religious reasons for not taking the vaccine. Generally, there's some exemption in place. Generally there's some exemption in place. Of course, not everything, but I think especially things like employment and stuff like that, I see employers making it clear that, hey, if you do have a medical reason for not taking the vaccine as well as a religious reason, then
you're exempted.
You're exempted.
Well, not from what I've been hearing, and what who I've been hearing it from, people who actually have these medical reasons. They aren't being.
You mean from the employer?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
not being.
There's no provisions.
No.
My understanding from all of this is that if things were to go according to plan, that the vaccinated bunch will protect those that can't. But what we now see is that people are not.
We're not getting to the number where that kicks in. That's what really is happening.
Right, and that's the thing. So I think, like Azem said, we haven't got to that number where that can kick in, where the unvaccinated population that truly can't and shouldn't be vaccinated could operate as normal, operate like everyone else. But we see a lot of hesitation and we see a lot of resistance to taking the vaccine.
And
so now that sort of screws up the numbers.
But that's the thing, Jade. I think that what Kevon is saying is, I think for instance, I think the government's position is, we have the government's position, and it's clear, like, vaccinate in order to protect society, those among us who can't. So whether it is young people, old people that some kind of who are immunocompromised, some other kind of health issue,
citizens,
right? Right. So that kind of thing. So they're going to put measures in place to really and truly, I don't want to say force, but to really
encourage.
To really encourage.
Strong encouragement.
to strongly encourage people to vaccinate. So the question now is, in terms of your concerns, is it the policymakers who are making it difficult for those among us to not be able to operate freely, or those among us who can take but refuse to take?
You see,
And I think that right there is what a lot of people aren't considering.
you see, for me, I feel like with these type of things, there should always be backup plans, because to realistically think that your general population who could be vaccinated would just decide to do so, I think that's not a forward thinking plan. Like, you can't just assume that because I have a vaccine now, everybody going to just hop up and take it because they can. That's never been how people work.
Well,
So,
okay, this is the thing. Remember, we asked that question
especially
here.
in our culture.
Well, no, we asked that question here, right? We asked that question here, and the answer to us was yes.
Yes,
The ans-
sir.
that they believed that the country will do what it has to do
Based on what?
based on the fact that we are in this pandemic. Based on the fact.
Yeah.
No, also I do believe that what you're saying is not necessarily the case here, because we do see a vast adoption of vaccines here. So, like, people go and take their children to the clinic and take the vaccines and whatever. So I don't. But the thing is, I think that what they underestimated was how
It's the
people would,
misinformation.
and how people would accept this particular vaccine given so many other different variables. You
Yeah.
know, so.
And
I think that was underestimated, but I do believe that that they were a big part of the medical profession, because they have seen mass adoption of the vaccination programs, who thought this would go that way because of the things at risk.
yeah.
I think
And,
that was a huge misstep, like you're saying.
Something I've realized as well too is the fact that we have to understand how this pandemic. We have to, if we have to be honest with ourselves, we have to view this pandemic in phases. Because when all of this started, everyone wanted a vaccine. Well, a massive majority of people wanted a vaccine. Everybody was looking for a cure. Everybody wanted this thing to end. Hurry up, let's get this thing on the road so we could take it and we could end this thing. Then we had to move on to the phase when it happened. When that happened, so many people that were now saying, I want the cure, I want this to end, give me the vaccine, let's get this done with, now we're on a different side of the fence. And they were like, I wanted this to happen, but it happened kind of fast, so now I may want it no more. And I think people, we have to, like I said, we have to look at this thing in stages, because when everybody was crying out, we need this to come to an end, I think that's what everybody was thinking. When all of these things were happening, the emergency approval was happening, the governments were making plans, they were saying, okay, everybody is ready to do this. And then when the time came, they were just met with, don't bother.
I don't think it's a don't bother situation. I think it's people finding out information for themselves and
Right.
all of these things that eventually ended up probably changing some people's minds, because
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I just think talk is cheap. I think talk is cheap. I think people, yes, like you're saying, Kevon, there was a big part of the global society who was like, yeah. But then when time come to actually sit down in the chair,
They said don't bother. They back out.
that's a different thing. Talk, watch you. When it come time for people to put up or shut up, a lot of people can't put up here.
Yeah, and I think that's a big factor we have to consider, because truth is, I'm sure at least everybody knows one person who has changed stances at least once during this pandemic.
Yeah, but yeah,
Because I know a few people who have, in the beginning they said, oh, this ain't real, now it's real, now is I want it to come to an end, now is, oh, don't bother, this ain't real no more.
but I feel like a lot of these
We all know
things-
somebody who's jumping.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of these things happen because of information. Like, remember when you tell
Maybe
people
misinformation.
whatever kind of information it is, because remember when you tell people go and do your own research, right? And they're starting to see like, oh, there's a percentage of this thing possibly happening when you put this in your body, or there's a percentage of you surviving this without being vaccinated, or there's a percentage of you, not even showing up symptoms, like, because there's so much information.
Yeah,
People
and I
start
think
to pick
like we
and
always
figure
say,
out what do I prefer to deal with? What chances do I have? Okay, this is the chance. Let me see if I prefer to deal with it.
yeah, but like we said earlier, you will find the information you're looking for. Because if I have to tell somebody, do your own research before if you want to figure out why you should or shouldn't do this. There's three ways you can do research, and some people will type in that Google search bar, "Why are vaccines bad?" You're gonna get what you're looking for. Another group of people are gonna type, "Why are vaccines good?" You're gonna get a different result. And then there's some people gonna say pros and cons of taking the vaccine. And then there's those three major categories that people fall into. You're gonna find what you're looking for. So even though we encourage people to do their own research, you're gonna do research to fuel what you kind of want to do.
Not only that, Kevon, I think even without it being a willful act, we have to understand that a lot of the internet pushes things that line up with based on previous searches and things like that, right? So if me, again, I say this all the time, if me and you are going to put in the same thing on Google, we get different results. We get different results based on our past thing. And so the search engines, whether it's YouTube, all of these things based on algorithms that then fuel certain things that will cause us to keep going. Because really that's what the internet is about. The internet is not really about, like, people like to say ads and, no, the internet is about who can monopolize your time. Can I keep you here? And the best way to keep you here is to stoke your
interests.
Not even your interest. Not your interest, There's one thing that keeps people engaged more than the things that they're interested in. Right? The things that they're concerned about and afraid of. You play on people's fear. Fear and insecurities.
Boy, that's yes.
I'll give you an example. If YouTube recognizes that you're somebody who Googles diets,
bet your life.
you know what it's going to push to you? It's going to push videos about eating disorders.
Yep.
Like it's not gonna just push diets in, it's gonna push the thing that's gonna cause you to click. You understand? It's because they already know, okay, this person already watched 20 diet videos. You know what I could do to keep him here? Let's give him something that's gonna stoke his fears.
Listen, YouTube would put my 300-pound life in your recommendations.
Yeah.
Just offer you Googling or researching diets.
Right. So I think that is something that we a lot of people don't recognize, the fact that on the internet you are a profile. And so the algorithm is going to push things to you based on that profile and not necessarily things that directly line up with your interest. And I think that's the misconception. It does not push your interest. It pushes the thing that causes you to click. And what causes you to click more than interest is the things that are like concerning. That is what can keep you there. So that's what they push. And so we have to really be able to vet and I do believe that is something that we have not learned. For instance, in schools now, we do so much work online. You're expected to Google, you're expected to do all these things. But we have not evolved to the place where the education system teaches people how to vet sources.
Nope.
Until you maybe get to college and you do it for a project where it's like, oh, I need to make sure this is a legitimate source or whatever.
Source, yeah.
People don't do that in their regular lives. Like people just like you click on anything, you read it. It's on the internet.
Sometimes
it must be true.
They don't even click on it. They literally read the headline.
Well, that's another thing altogether.
They read the headline and be like, "See, until I saw like, bro, that's not what the story says. You have to read all of it. Stop reading just headlines. Stop just going based on one sentence without context."
Yeah, but I mean, we have to and this is my thing, What makes this so difficult for me is when I talk to people, I understand legitimate, like people have legitimate concerns. People have legitimate concerns, like, and so I'm not
getting the answers.
Well, the answers don't necessarily exist a lot of times. The answers don't really exist. There's no way to tell For instance, if a man tell you, I don't have a problem with the vaccine, but I just kind of waiting for more time. He wants a bigger information pool.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know, well, is there something I have to look for down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4 years? He might have taken his yellow fever vaccine because, well, the yellow fever vaccine, to his knowledge, has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no answer to that question. You understand? So for me, it's about having a conversation about risk. It's just risk. Are you more inclined to risk the known effects of contracting the virus, which range from everything from impotence to death? Right? Or are you going to try and shield yourself from that using the vaccine, recognizing that the vaccine, and of course we've spoken to death about how this thing came up so quick and whatever, and what were the factors included in that and whatever. But again, people just don't have that big pool of information that only time can give you. So you're going to take that risk. And I think that's what we need to recognize. Once people make up their mind about what it is, then we're going to start seeing what we're going to start seeing the policies fall in place. However, we do, and this is where this whole conversation started. We have to recognize what that means is that for those among us who don't have a choice, they're the ones who ultimately really just those are the ones who really gonna suffer. Because if you make a choice and you deal with the consequences, that's one thing. But to suffer consequences when you didn't have a choice, but based on the choice of someone else, I think that's an unfortunate place to be.
Terrible place to be.
So.
Yeah, you want to take a quick call before we go to a break?
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up? Hello, caller. You there? Yeah.
They left. Well, break time. Yes, it's time to take a little break. No? Okay.
We get one caller in on this topic. Caller, good morning. I live on Island T. What's up?
Hey, man, I just going to drink some tea myself.
Hey.
I kind of mix up lemongrass, soursop, cinnamon bush.
What? That's all I got. That's all like a potion.
I
That's all like
am
tea.
adding them to my vaccine
Okay.
to make sure that I boost my immune system.
Got you.
Now, Mr. Michael said something which is very important, There had not been enough pushback. Now, take, for example, people have introduced the racial element. You notice that?
Yeah, that had come up even before the vaccine was even available.
Racial element that they bring it to take us out. Then if you know any kind of common sense, if that was the case, they would have flooded Africa with it, wouldn't they?
Uh-huh.
They want to find more black people in Africa. And they're the ones complaining that they can't get their hand on no vaccine. Illogical. And so they have, and then you ask them again. As far as you know, look at the numbers on the WHO's website. Tell me if black countries or Caucasian or mixed countries have less than those with the predominant black population. That's the next question, And these are talking about reason, rational statistics. So they come down and they tell you, well, this man trying to take us out and whatever. Well, we're doing a good job of taking out ourselves, eh? So they have not been pushing back with logical reasons. And then again, I heard my good friend Jade asking, why should those who decide they're not going to take it beyond, you want to do a discriminator? They have discriminated themselves, Remember, allowance is made if you have a medical reason, by age and by religious. Now, that covers a lot of people, Then what is your reason? And why choose death over life? The Bible says choose life that you and your children may live. I mean, they have seen how fast it spread. The man was talking about BVI. Every now and again you hear in another country that thought it got over. a new strain comes in. It don't take a week to take us out. You are the man say from the 9th of July till they have over 1,600?
Yes.
What proportion?
Yes.
What is the proportion of the population infected? Sorry, y'all didn't ask him. This is not a joke. When I hear some people, I feel sorry for them. Because, you see, when you go and misinform people and something happened to them, how do you feel? They can't. If you're so concerned about your occupation and you decide not to take, then you have made up your mind to take the consequences. You want to make your decision and somebody's going to make theirs for you. We got to learn to be rational.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have this tour thing and so. If you have no reason, and if you got a reason, write it in to your boss. And nobody could claim religion, That's the easy way out. You know that?
Right.
Anybody. You don't have to be Rasta to be religious, If your religion say you can't take vaccine, you let them know.
Right.
Or you can't come, I ain't got no reason, I just ain't taking none.
Yeah, we understand. Yeah.
All right then. So as I said, we need to be pushing back because some of the things that some intelligent people say you want to know is they lost their mind. You're not helping black people. You're harming. In the USA, 1 ton load of black gold. Then you go, the Tuskegee. The Tuskegee, it was sad. We can walk around with the chains of slavery hanging on us and clean our own selves.
Sorry, Mr.
Right,
yeah, thank you very much for your input. Guys, we're gonna take a short break and be right back. We have some guests in the studio with some very pertinent information. Looking forward to the discussion right here on Win FM 98.9, WINNmedia SKN on Island T. See you guys in a few minutes.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Run to Hospice Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store now and get a chance to win free groceries for 1 year. By popular demand, Cashback is back, but this time Cashback is back with more quality appliances, more great prices and fantastic deals, more of Hospice's fabulous FlexPay payment plan, and more free groceries. A whole year of free groceries. Come to Hospice Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store today and get absolutely free groceries with every higher purchase and a chance to win free groceries for 1 year. Great deals on furniture and appliances. Get cash back for free groceries with FlexPay higher purchase and a chance to win free groceries for 1 year with every $500 spent. All great reasons to shop at Hospice Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store this coupon season. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Welcome back to Island Tea with your faves, Kevon and Azem, featuring Jade, Gwen Johnson. And it is time to jump into Espresso/Eat Local with the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you guys doing?
Well enough.
I ask because there has been so much talk about tourism of the past few months. I can't even imagine what's on your guys' plate and all the decisions I have to make, the meetings. I could imagine it must be I could imagine it's meeting upon meeting upon meeting upon meeting. But I'm really happy that you guys are here and coming to talk to us about some of the developments moving forward and things that are happening in the industry. I know there's a lot of people who are anxiously waiting for the information I'm sure you guys are going to disclose. So generally, I know the question is just generally, what's happening? What's next? What can we look forward to?
I'll allow Melnecia to give you a little overview.
But before we do that, I don't think we had you guys introduce yourselves so everybody knows who's speaking. So yeah, let us know who's on the mic.
Good morning. My name is Melnecia Marshall, and I'm the Product Development Manager at the St. Kitts Tourism Authority.
Good morning, everyone. I am Carlene Henry-Morton, and I am the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Transport and Ports.
All right, thank you. But Melnecia, you have been voluntold
Yes.
that you'll be speaking to us first. So what's happening?
Well, let's just say, at the St. Kitts Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, it has been a lesson in juggling. It has been an emotional roller coaster. We certainly understand the impact that COVID-19 has had globally and also locally. And so now the destination we opened October 2020, and with that we started with our stayover visitors coming in. And now we are on the brink, finally, of accepting our cruise visitors back to St. Kitts and Nevis, and we are really, really excited about that. It has been a really long journey, as you would have indicated in your opening. I don't know if you were spying on us, but we have had several meetings. It has been meetings after meetings.
No comment.
Protocols, trying to create protocols based on the new COVID-19 situation. We like to use the term new normal, but really and truly, this is just normal at this point in time. There's no post-COVID situation. We believe that COVID is here to stay. And so as a nation, globally, we have to do our best to see how we can cope and move forward in this new era.
Well, you guys obviously have been working, and now we are at the brink, like you mentioned, of actually accepting cruise tourists again, cruise tourism. When is the first ship due to arrive?
Well, on the 22nd of July. And let me preface what we're going to talk about so that people understand that this is going to be a very measured, very phased approach. It cannot be, as you said, a knee-jerk reaction. What we're going to be rolling out over the next couple of months, it starts now. When I tell you the journey of 1,000 miles, it begins with the first step. So this is basically the first step. And so it's going to be very incremental, very measured, because if you have too many things going on at the same time, if, God forbid, things begin to go wrong, you don't know where to look to see where it's going wrong. When you do it in a very measured way, you can kind of pinpoint, like, it seems as if this is where we're having a gap, this is where we're having some, some issues, and so you are better able to begin to fix and tweak and refine and so on. So we want the general public, this is not just for the stakeholders in tourism, but the general public to understand that there is actually a system that has been worked out and the way in which we're going to do things. There are a number of players involved. It's not just the Ministry of Tourism, it's health, it's the COVID-19 task force, it's police, it's a whole set of players that are going to have to make sure that we complement and support each other on this journey. Okay, so the first ship is on the 22nd, and I think that is the Seabourn Odyssey.
Yes.
And I will let
Odyssey.
Melnecia give you some of the details, because the SKTA, by and large, they deal with cruise. Of
Right.
course, they fall under the Ministry of Tourism, but she's in a better position to give you those finer details that are necessary at this time.
Melnecia, like you try you under the cruise ship, let's go.
Melnecia, accustomed to be on the cruise ship, trust me. No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure at all. So when the cruise ship arrives, Seabourn Odyssey, on the 22nd, to Mrs. Morton's point, normally you would have a whole bustle of activity and crowds in Bastille, and we know what the atmosphere is normally like when we have cruise ships in port. However, for this first ship, first of all, the ship normally has a capacity on any given day, not just because of COVID, but on any normal day, it has a capacity of 450 passengers.
Ooh.
The ships right now are doing their test sailings, so they're not sailing at 100% capacity. We have been advised that it's about 1/3 of the capacity because it's like a more of a pilot situation going on.
Okay.
And so as the cruise lines are testing, the destinations are testing. The ship will dock at South Friars, which is normally the place where it would normally dock when it is here on any given cruise season. And so it will be docking at South Friars. And we are going to be asking our nationals and residents to really allow us the opportunity to have this pilot cruise and see how it goes. We want to ensure that we are having the right protocols, that the protocols that that are enforced, that they're actually working, because they're in place to protect us as the nationals and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, and they're also there to protect our visitors as well, especially coming out of a outbreak that we had. We really don't want to have the destination end up in a situation where we have another outbreak and we end up in another lockdown. We really want to see how we can balance the public health and the economics, because we understand that we all have to earn a living.
Correct, correct.
And there's that old saying. I was listening this morning, because I tend to listen to your program.
Oh.
And I was listening this morning with the gentleman, Mr. Smith, who was on from Tortola. And there's an old adage, I'm one of the old heads, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you begin to wet down yours.
Yes, indeed.
So it doesn't make any sense for us to think that we are so organized that what has happened in other jurisdictions, other destinations, can't happen to us. As a matter of fact, we should use their experience as cautionary tales.
Yes.
What to avoid, to make sure that we preach and talk and emphasize and go over and over and over to avoid some of what we see has happened in other destinations, who perhaps may have opened and were not as strict as perhaps they ought to be.
Right.
And so when people begin to say, man, throw back the door, man, open the place and so on, you say, but listen, this is what we are trying to avoid.
Right. And it's interesting that you said that, and I'm happy that you did, because what that indicates to me is that even now there must be some preparations happening for the arrival of this first cruise ship. Could you enlighten us on what are some of the things that the ministry and of course the board is doing to prepare prior to the arrival?
Well, a lot of training has been taking place. So because you can't just tell people what they ought to do, but you must bring people together, hear from them, because people don't want to just be lectured. People want the opportunity to ask questions and to make sure they clarify in case they might be misunderstanding certain things. So a lot of training to make sure that when I say to you that you ought to stand 6 feet apart, this is what 6 feet would look like. When I say you ought to wash your hands, you give a demonstration of how to wash. You talk about the sanitization protocols that are to be adhered to and what they would look like, what types of products to buy and so on. So the St. Kitts Tourism Authority did a very good job over the past couple of months, and even now some retraining and so on is taking place as we are on the brink of wetting our toes back into the whole recovery process and so on. So a lot of that, there's the travel approved seals. So apart from coming and doing the training, there is certification.
All right. Okay.
Not just for the individual, for the businesses, for the buses. So after you have done the training, they are going to come to inspect your vehicle to make sure that you have implemented some of those measures that they have pointed out to you, the Velcro to separate the driver from the passenger, those kinds of things.
Right.
You must have a garbage bin on your bus. You must have special ways in which the particular passengers can feel comfortable that they have sanitized
Access to
their hands
sanitizer, yes,
and that
yeah.
kind of thing and so on. The little messages and stickers on your bus to remind people of what they ought to do and so on and so forth. So those are some of the things that have been taking place to prepare those persons who are going to be delivering goods and services to the guests, to get them understanding what actually is involved, what it would look like, not just in theory, but what it would actually look like when you deliver it on the ground.
And I want to chime in, Mrs. Morton, and indicate that it's not even, it's also for attraction sites, and we've also done this for properties as well, accommodations. So it has extended. I know many times, you hear Tourism Authority on the road, it's a lot about cruise. But I know even though we're here speaking about cruise, I just wanted to let everyone know that this program has extended beyond cruise. It's a holistic approach to the destination. So
in fact, when we leave it, Melnecia, we're going to look at 2 properties.
Yes, we're going to actually
one is cruise and one is stay over.
One is stay over. So we actually have inspections for all the properties. We have to ensure that the properties themselves have their own protocols to ensure that whenever they guests, whether it be nationals and residents or visitors, because safety is about everyone at this point in time, that they have the things that they need to have, the hand sanitizers, as Mrs. Morton would have indicated, the separation of the plexiglass at cashier stations, ensuring that they have proper protocols in place to ensure that they keep their employees and their patrons safe.
Right.
And when I say we, it's not just the Ministry of Tourism, those walkthroughs that we're going to do, the COVID-19 task force, and all of the different bodies that are represented, they would have persons at the particular properties, so that everybody has a stake in making sure.
And everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, everybody's on the same page.
Right.
Everybody has the set of criteria. You tick off as you go. If there are any questions that you need to ask the property managers and owners and so on, the persons are right there. You can ask those questions. If you see gaps, you say, listen, we would be back in the next week or 2. These are the 2 areas, 4 areas, whatever it is that you need to make sure that you bring up to par, so that conversation always must be taking place.
For sure.
Yeah, so you were saying earlier that the passengers arrive next week. What will be the process for these passengers? How will they really be experiencing St. Kitts? What is that going to look like?
So first of all, we want to make it clear that all of these passengers are fully vaccinated. That is a requirement for the destination, and the cruise ships have agreed and they have met that requirement. So crew and passengers are fully vaccinated. Now, as they explore the destination, they're going to do so in bubble vaccinated tours, meaning only operators at this point in time during this first phase, and we want to manage expectations during this first phase as we test this pilot cruise. We're only going to have fully vaccinated bubble experiences where the guests can enjoy the destination but safely going to attractions, enjoying the service of service providers like our taxi operators who are fully vaccinated, who have gone to the training, who have their travel approved seal. So that is going to be the first phase. Now, once we get out of that phase and we see herd immunity or the destination doing well in terms of managing this process, then we begin to lift the restrictions bit by bit. As Mrs. Morton indicated, it's not going to be a floodgate open. So I want to break it down a little bit more. So let's say the guests are going on an island tour. The stops on the island tour may include Caribel Batik, Brimstone Hill. Once they're going into those areas, it becomes a bubble, which means that anyone who is not vaccinated or who hasn't been trained or who doesn't have the seal, no, they will not be allowed in that bubble. So the visitors remain in that bubble for that period of time that they are here, and then once they leave, then the bubble is opened.
Okay, so quick question. So what I'm getting from that is that they are, just like they are travel approved operators, there must then be travel approved sites, meaning a taxi driver can't expect to go pull up in his backyard to show a tourist his mongoose trap because it came up in conversation.
Correct.
Okay.
So we know that those are the unique elements, that we treasured previously, but because of COVID-19, we have had to make some adjustments. And during this first phase, yes, as much as we want to show the visitors everything that we can show them, we have to put safety first in order to keep that economics coming. So no, persons will not be allowed, individuals will not be allowed to pull up on the side of the road and show them how to make fungi and fish, which would have normally been the situation, right? Not during this first phase. We're just asking everyone to cooperate with us. We're testing it, we're taking it bit by bit, easing it in, and so during this first phase, fully vaccinated bubble tours. So all of the operators, meaning the employees at the sites or the service providers, they must be vaccinated. They must have attended the training, and they must have received their travel approved seal.
So I'm listening, and it seems like you guys have a full plan already in place. But we know sometimes people tend to know what they're supposed to do and decide to do different. What do you guys have in place to keep people on the right track? Is there any sanctions or anything that would be put in place if people break the protocols that you guys have put in place?
A compliance team, these tours that are going to be taking place, they don't just go out on their own. At least one compliance team accompanies the tours, so that they are there to have that oversight and to quickly, make sure that you intervene if you see that people are not adhering strictly to what was we agreed that this is how we are going to operate. And if there are persons who are not adhering, then they will be pulled out of the bubble.
Right.
You understand what I mean? So because you, as you say, you always have to anticipate that there would be that one person who may not want to, fully comply.
Right.
And so you always have to have that particular system in place where, you can kindly ease the person aside so that the rest of the tour can go along. You understand? So those are systems, again, trying to think ahead, trying to be proactive, trying to make sure that, as far as we possibly can, we would have put systems in place to, any gaps, any weaknesses that we spot, there's something that can, move in as quickly as we possibly can to cut that short.
And we've also advised our cruise line partners that our guests must also abide by the protocols that are in place for the destination. And so I think I was watching something, I think it was the news, and 2 cruise ship passengers were actually disembarked because of breaching the protocols. So they were supposed to go out on a tour, a bubble tour. We're not the only destination doing the bubble tours. They went out on a bubble tour and they breached.
They went about the business.
Yes.
They went about the business.
And so, you saw the camera with them being rolled off with their suitcases. Point blank. You breached, you cannot come
There's
back.
consequences.
There are consequences.
Yeah. Right.
And like Mrs. Morton was saying earlier, that I think this isolated approach helps to really see these errors, because I think you could control things better. Because I think if everything was to open all at once, that might have been missed.
That could complicate things for you. Too many pots on the stove at the same time. All of them start bubbling over at the same time. Which one do you prioritize?
Right.
If you have a few, you could easily say, let me move that aside, put this here, you understand, add a little water to that. So I'm using the cooking analogy for those persons who are cooks, so that you understand that it gives you that leeway to better manage what is going on.
We're doing a lot of talk about what is expected of the persons directly involved in the industry, to operators, people who are at some of the sites, as well as even the tourists and the cruise ships coming in. What's our role as the general public, especially given the fact that we are now just coming out of lockdown and stuff like that? What role do we have to play in ensuring that this goes as well as possible?
Well, the ball is literally in our court as a destination, literally. This phase will last as long as people are willing to comply and to adhere and to demonstrate that in good faith we understand what is going on, and we know that the medium to long-term benefits to be reaped if we, just do what we ought to do at this stage. So we want to appeal to the general public. That is what this is all about, right? And I'm sure Melnecia will add her own little 2 pence to it. This is to bring the general public up to speed on exactly what is going on so that people can situate in their heads the context in which we are working. Their role is when you hear that a ship is in, if there are certain sites and attractions that are being used and you are not part of the persons delivering the service and the goods, do not go there at that particular time,
Right.
because the environment has to be absolutely controlled. In case anything happens, you know down to the last name exactly who the persons were who were at that particular site.
So
If you have to do contact tracing, for
Right.
example.
So, for instance, I may be some sort of peddler. For instance, I might be selling natural juices or whatever. I can't expect to see the tourist bus pass going to a particular site in my village and just run up there because I'm not selling passion fruit and lemonade.
Not at this time.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
at this time. We are really appealing. This is a pilot coming out of COVID-19. We are really trying to balance the health and the economics. We understand that it has been almost 18 months since some persons may have worked, but at the same time, we can't rush into it. We have to ensure that we take our time. We have things in place to prevent any outbreaks as much as we possibly can, because if we do not do that, we can set the destination back for a number of years, not months, but years. We have a situation where another destination, I'm not going to say the name on the air, where
Tell me here afterwards.
they were ready to take cruise ship passengers, ready, and I mean had ships lined up, and they recently have had an outbreak, and as a result of that, they have had to lock down again, and they are unable to take their ships. So the
wow.
destination has once again been set back. And we learned that just this week, I think it was, when we were having some conversations with some of the cruise lines. And so it is still a very fluid situation. And so we are asking the general public, as the tours are going out, in the vaccinated bubble tours, in the restricted areas, we are asking for our nationals, please do not access these sites. Do not access these sites during the days when we have these vaccinated bubble tours coming out. It's the same thing with the hotels. We have quarantine hotels. We know we can't go to the quarantine hotels. There are vacation in place hotels. We can't go to the vacation in place hotels. So it's the very same approach that we are taking for cruise. Starting out small, and as we ease the restrictions, then of course more of the community
Right.
can become more involved.
Right. So I think that's important to note, the fact that we all have a part to play in ensuring that this pilot goes as good as possible and allow us to learn and continually adapt so that we could then move on and open up even more. We spoke about the cruise ship that's coming. I think that's next Wednesday.
Next Thursday.
Next
the
Thursday.
22nd? Yes,
The 22nd.
next
Yeah. So
Thursday.
is there any other ships coming in the short term, or is it just the one?
Yes, we anticipate we have a ship scheduled for the 29th, the Celebrity Summit, and we do have ships scheduled for August.
Okay.
And so we have to look at what happens call by call and just keep taking those positive steps upwards. I am confident, Mrs. Morton and I are confident, the Tourism Authority is confident that once we all play our role, we can continue to see that positive step forward. We really want to ensure that when we resume cruise, we do a really good job of it and ensuring that our nationals and residents, I keep repeating it, we want to keep our nationals and residents safe, but we also want to balance the economics.
Right. And even just so we have an amazing product here in the island of St. Kitts. I mean, we want to allow people to enjoy it just as much as we do, and so understanding that this is how we get to that point. Is very important to allow us to do so. So everyone, we've been asking that we all play our part, and so here we go. We on the road.
Yes.
Well, let me say we're on the sea. we're on the sea. So guys, just before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to say to the listeners and the viewers?
I just want to add that also part of the preparations for the cruise coming in, we've also had several meetings this week. It's been a rough week, a really hectic week, because we wanted to ensure that we met with our focus groups, our touch areas. So all of our vendors, the primates, the aloe, these are persons who have really been hurting during COVID-19, and we didn't want to just say, okay, a ship is coming in, just leave it alone. So we had to explain to them the same way that we're explaining here on the radio. This is how it is. This is going to be the approach. This is going to be the strategy to ensure that they understand where we are going. We did the same thing for our tour operators. We are having meetings with our taxi and tour bus operators next week. We are going to have a general cruise stakeholder meeting next week as well. So we are ensuring that we have that consultation across the board, so that we have all of our stakeholders involved and engaged positively.
All right. Thank you so much. Mrs. Morton, any last words?
Yes, I want in advance to thank all those persons to whom we are appealing, to let them know that we understand that people, are rearing and ready to go, but we want, again, to thank them for their understanding and the confidence, express that confidence in them, that they are going to abide and adhere, and they are going to give the process that opportunity that it needs to work. Because when all is said and done, it is to everybody's benefit that we make sure that this is a success, so that incrementally we can begin to add other tours and services and goods and expand, so that more people are able to begin to make a decent living again from tourism and from cruise.
All right, thank you guys so much. Guys, ship coming back, Yes, the ship about to land.
No, we said coming ashore. They're
coming ashore.
They're coming ashore.
Yes, I was
Leave the remixes, please.
I was remixing this. Okay. But yeah, guys, I think there's a big part of the population that is very excited to see these developments. Thank you guys for all the work that you guys have been doing in trying to put all this together. We understand that it must have been a Herculean task, but of course, with ladies like yourself involved, it's nothing that you guys can handle, and we're now seeing the results. So thank you guys for coming, and we're gonna take a short break because we have another guest on the line.
Yes.
Okay.
So see you guys in a few minutes right here on Island Tea.
Energize your goals with Lucozade. Get it cool. Look under the cap. Find the code. Win it. Thousands in prizes. iPhones and TVs. Or win 30 grand US dollars for your goals. That's goals.
For a chance to win 30,000 US dollars. Purchase any Lucozade Energy promo bottle. Look under the cap and find the code to win iPhones, TVs, and free Lucozade or 30,000 US dollars to energize your goals. See website, social media, or press for details. Lucozade, taste the energy.
I have a surprise for mosquito, roach, and flies. Pop makes all of them die. Don't bother with the long chat, Pop tell you why. Pop makes all of them die. To take care of my premises, I have to stand guard. Pop kill insects, small or large. When me use my yard, me no need no bodyguard. Pop takes care of roach in a house and yard. Surprise for mosquito, roach, and flies. Pop makes all of them die. Don't bother with the long chat, Pop tell you why. Get serious, get back.
Like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ramsupermarket. Follow us on Twitter, www.twitter.com/ramsupermarket. And subscribe to us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/ramsupermarket.
If you own or work with animals, please follow these tips to avoid getting the coronavirus. Please keep pets away from areas where you are preparing food and eating your meals. Thoroughly wash your hands after handling animals and animal waste. Avoid contact with sick or stray animals. And always remember to wear protective gowns, gloves, and facial protection.
Welcome back to Island Tea with your faves, Kevon and Azem, featuring Jade, Gwen Johnson. And it is time to jump into Eat Local with Mr. Omari Banks. Welcome and good morning.
How you doing, my brother?
Good. You gave us a great intro.
Oh, wow. Were you hearing that live?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Omari Banks, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Just taking it easy. How you doing?
Things good on our end. We're just here chilling. I'm actually I'm actually experiencing Fedora envy right now.
But like, you know that you've been racking that for a while, so so I expected to see that. I ain't seen it on the screen, but I expected to see that.
Yeah, but not today. Today I'm doing the head wrap today. You know.
Okay.
I'm turban vibes.
Okay.
But how you been? How things been in Anguilla?
Well, I mean, right now Anguilla we're kind of open up in the sense that people are able to come in once they're fully vaccinated. Then when you come in, you take a test, and then once your test is all clear, then you're able to mingle out into the public. So that's been from July 1st. So that's been a little bit more helpful. Plus,
Okay.
you know, I'm in entertainment and anything in entertainment, tourism, or anything where you have to congregate as people it's been really cut over the past year and a half, 2 years since the whole COVID situation. So that's been a knock to all of us. But like everything else, we just try to make the most of it. I've done for the first maybe 9 months to a year, we had a lockdown initially, and then we were able to actually mingle here within Anguilla, and we did a few stuff. But then over the past maybe about 6-7 months, when we had another lockdown, we had a kind of a cluster. Things had kind of shut down again. So it's been tough. I mean, I've been away 1 or 2 times to travel and perform in the US when things got a little bit better over there, and I'm actually traveling for a couple of days in the next few days as well. And probably for the next couple of months as well. But on the island, it's been a little bit. It's been tough, but in the sense that in terms of the economy and that kind of thing. But in terms of cases and deaths and stuff like that, we haven't had any. So that's a blessing in itself.
Oh wow! So yeah, I'm really happy that that's the case, and hopefully that remains the situation there. I'm happy to hear that you're actually gonna be moving around a bit, and being able to share your music with people. As a matter of fact, you were here a few months ago, and you spoke to us about your last release. How was that? How did people accept it? How has that been going?
You mean Not Drop Out, right? Which I think was Not Drop Out.
Not Drop Out, yes.
Yeah, man. Not Drop Out did really well. I mean, up to now, it's on YouTube. It's still going good, over 350,000 views, I think, so far. So that's really cool. We just continue to push that. That song was a kind of a different sound for me. What I did, it wasn't a live performance feel, but I worked with a good friend of mine, a gentleman by the name of Mark Campbell. He plays with like Albert Rosie, but he's from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And I've toured with him as well in the US and that kind of stuff. So he produced the track. We worked along together, kind of a dancehall feel. So it was good to do something a little bit different. And and just recently I released another single on July 2nd, which is called Educate Us.
Well, educate us about Educate Us now, because I know that is why you're here today. I just love when I hear that Omari has new material. I always rush and go and listen to it. So tell us a bit about this one.
Well, first I want to say thank you very much for Azem for always supporting me. I know every time I reach out to you, you're always receptive. Whether it's about the music or whether it's about performing, whether it's about anything, I just want to say thank you firstly for that, and I really appreciate that. That's love, my brother.
Yeah, man.
But Educators is a song. I produced this one, this song, which I do most of my music, about 90% of my music, but I try to work along with people who I definitely feel could enhance the product. So on this track, Educators, I worked along with Dean Fraser, worked along with Mikey Fletcher, who's also
legends.
You know Mikey Fletcher, right?
Legends.
Of course, exactly right. So in the likes of those folks on the project. So of course, I had a really great time working along with those guys, and they gave some really good insight. He actually co-arranged a song with me. And Educators is really a song about a conscious song, as I say, more in the roots vein, roots rock reggae, which I really like to do, where I'm able to, one, you get the live feel, as well as you're able, when I'm performing that song live, could kind of showcase my talents and my skill, or what I believe is what I like to do when it comes to representing my music. But the song within itself, the message is really about us as as people, as Black people especially, just for us to wake up to the realities of who we are as a people. And I think once we wake up to the realities of that, I think that a lot of those, when we wake up to these things, a lot of the things that I believe that we need to put in place, whether it be on a society level, on an individual level, or even on a government's level. I mean, I think that would help us going forward in the decisions that we make. So educators is really a plea and a cry for us as a people to wake up to who we are, whether it's from spirituality to our way how we go about our business, and just the sense of us understanding that we need to work together in order to get the results that we want. Everybody else in the world are forming alliances. Yes, we live in a global world, and the world is moving in a direction where we always have to collaborate with others. But I think us as a people, for us to get leverage and us be able to collaborate with respect, we're gonna have to continue to wake up to who we are and build up ourselves as a people. So Educators is a song really in that vein, telling us to wake up, let's come together, let's understand who we are, and let's continue to build what we have.
Wow, I think that is such a timely message. So timely that perhaps we should probably listen to this to the message right now. Omari, you want to do us the favor and introduce this track?
Of course. So for guys, everybody out there, St. Kitts, I love you guys. Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to come back and performing with you again. I know my boy Azem, we're gonna work together to make that happen.
For sure.
But check this one out. This is my brand new single. It's on YouTube right now. It's called Educators. Yesterday we just hit 150,000 views. Make sure you go out there and watch it. Check it out, it's SKB. I love you guys. Omari Banks, Educators.
Tell the youth the truth. Educators. Cause all I see them doing is trying to misinform us. That's from the government down to the church. Social media. We living in a world where it's mostly propaganda. The youth them don't know who and what to trust. When you stand for your rights, they say time will change things. But only thing keep changing is persons. Same doctrine, same pockets keep lining. Tell them if the price to keep you subservient to them. Let's stop some theology. Why does the God you serve need money to carry out his will? Ancient stories told in the present tense. Check your dollar bill every time you spend. Educators. Cause all I see them doing is trying to misinform us. That's from the government down to the church. Social media. We living in a world where it's mostly propaganda. The youth them don't know who and what to trust. So educators, tell the youth about them history. They don't teach about Marcus Garvey. All they say is we come from a slave ship. They don't teach about the African, which existed long before the Greek entrance. How they tried to shape our legacy. Water down Nelson and Martin's philosophies. Never teach about the cures and trees. They put it in a pill and charge me triple fees. Triple fees. Oh boy. Please, educators. Cause all I see them doing is trying to misinform us. That's from the government down to the church. Social media. We living in a world where it's mostly propaganda. The youth them don't know who and what to trust. I wish they taught about the Moors universities. I wish they taught about Kemetic philosophy. It's only greater truth alone will make the captive see. So many prophets died so we can be free. Educators. Educators, I see them doing is trying to misinform us. That's from the government down to the church and social media. We living in a world where it's mostly propaganda. The youth them don't know who and what to trust. Educators, educators, educators. Propaganda. The youth them don't know who and what to trust.
Wow.
Excellent song.
Wow, Omari.
Round of applause.
We're looking at the chat here on YouTube, and everybody is giving props. Everybody is saying sounds good, tune, and I think everybody is recognizing that again. This message is so important,
and super clear.
Yes, poignant.
Thank you very much, and I think especially for everybody, not only just in Anguilla, but throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world, you're realizing how over the past year and a half, even 2 years, that it's like almost like, yeah, we need to wake up. You know what I mean? Because that unity, that strength is what's gonna make is needed for us to survive. Because I mean, with everything that's going on out there, as us as people, it almost feels like we're still victim to the same slave mentality. Or we're still victims, or we're still slaves. You know what I mean? Just subservient to a system. You get what I'm saying? So I think in a lot of ways, over the past year and a half, it's brought it to the forefront. And this song, Educators, is really just speaking to that. I mean, it's not just now, but it's even right now more, necessary to hear.
For sure. I can't thank you enough for that message. Some of the things you were saying there, talking about Kemetic philosophy and things like that, I think as black people in the diaspora, we're sometimes hesitant to reconnect to some of these things. And I do think it really does go a long way in informing our consciousness and the way we navigate the world going forward. So definitely things that I think. So if people want to listen this again, you said it's on YouTube. What's your YouTube channel, and where else can they interact with Omari Banks?
Well, my YouTube channel is Omari Banks. So you just go on YouTube, you punch in Omari Banks. That's the name of my YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, and make sure you click the bell so you're notified every time I release a music video. But just socially, you can catch me on Instagram. It's Omari Banks Music. On Twitter, it's Omari Banks Music. My webpage is www.omaribanks.com. On Facebook, it's Omari Banks. So once you remember my name, you'll be able to find me. I just want to say thanks to everybody who's tuned in on YouTube. I always just think I've got a lot of family over there, but it's always been just historically a happy hunting ground, as they would say, for me, from my days of cricket. I always perform.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about. I thought you were hunting something else, but.
Whoa. Oh dear.
Back to my grass buddy, Azem. But yeah, it's always been a happy place for me. So I mean, I always love to go to Stinkits, whether it's cricket or music. I just having fun with friends there. It's always a good time. So big up to all my friends and family over there, you guys.
Yeah, man. That just means that we really have to get you back here. But you did mention that next up you're really looking to move off the home front and take your music to the people. You want to talk about simply where you're gonna be going next?
Yeah, but first I'm actually going on the 23rd over to the US to do a small private concert over there. So going on the 25th, I'm getting back on the 23rd and get back on the 25th. But then I'm looking, of course, in August, end of August, September, I'm going to be doing a string of dates in the US as well. That's the plan. So I'm really excited for that. I've got some really cool things in the works that I'm planning as well. So, I'm going to let you guys know exactly what's up. But yeah.
For sure. And for everybody listening, he just let us know all of his social media. So go ahead and keep in contact with and see exactly what's happening with Omari Banks next. And I just really can't even wait for even more music. But until then, I'm definitely gonna ring out this one on the stereo.
Right.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Azem, man, I appreciate you. And this always love. Jade, big up yourself. Sorry for being the bottle. I asked her to change her picture, so I hope she ain't vexed.
Of course not.
Omari,
it makes sense. That's why she come in the studio all angry this morning.
Well, you lied
I'll
on
give
me.
them some kiss you, big kiss you, and I'll give you that big kiss when I come over to sing it too. So look for that.
What?
Hunting grounds.
Excuse me.
Hunting grounds.
The girl flicking she locks, Lord. Let's move. Hey,
You're jealous. Move.
I'm jealous of the fedora.
Okay.
But Omari, man, it's always a pleasure when we link up, man. And again, we're just so excited for what you have next, because you know, this track in particular, man, I think it's gonna do great. I think it's something that everybody needs to hear. And so thanks again for taking the time out, coming and sharing with us. It's always a pleasure when we link up, brother.
All right, man. Big up yourself, and Kevon, big up yourself too.
Thank you.
All right, love. Thanks for having me, guys. Love and respect.
Yeah, man. Bless.
Thank you guys for that.
Boy, I'm telling you, I just love when we get to hook up with friends who might not actually be based in St. Kitts, and it kind of reminds us that we are kind of as much as we live in different places, slightly different cultures, we are still one people. Eh?
Yeah, but the only thing that separates us is taxes.
Shots fired. Well, contrary to what you guys may believe, it's not Thursday, it's actually Friday. And
Friday.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah.
Jade get to go. Yesterday she decided she coming in here.
Listen, I had a couple, you know. Anyway, next week.
Write them down, and we do it next week.
Oh man.
Trust me, I had a couple. But you know, guys, it's Friday, and we have a packed day ahead of us on Win FM. You know, after we leave, it doesn't stop. We have our friend Sandra. Miss Sandra will be back.
Sandra!
Coming back to cause chaos on the airways as usual.
Oh, Lord.
We miss her so much. And then guess what? Voices is actually speaking to someone from CPL today, Mr. Peter Miller, you know, to give you all the CPL updates that you're probably waiting on. The fixture was just released, so you can look at that on the St. Kitts Patriots page to see all the games that are coming up. And then we have some good music, you know. We have like DJ Jade Sounds, we have DJ Flames, and we have Rabuka ending it tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah, listen, tonight's a pack there.
Vibes.
All right, guys. So, stay tuned. But again, really want to show love to you guys who tune in daily. All you guys who comment on the live, big part of that community. All you guys who call in, all you guys who message us privately to give us your comments and your commendations and your critiques. Oh yeah, and I have not big up this group of people in a while, but you're also very important. Big up to the haters. They want. Big up to the people who.
So what?
Big up to the people who think we're the worst thing out, but listen to us every day just so they could.
But that's the thing.
Yeah,
you hate us so much that your hatred has now turned into an obsession, and you tune in every day.
The people that write us love letters and stuff, we love y'all too.
I never get a love letter yet. Bye.
Oh, you did. You did.
So you say you pass it on to me now?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let me get one, Jade. Like, you want to offer yourself?
Because your love letter was mine. It literally was.
Yeah, so I think it was your love letter. I think that's what you said.
But just doubled with your name on it.
My name was on it too?
Yeah.
Where?
Kevin's name was on it too?
No.
So my name was on it?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, guys, apparently I'm either loved or hated depending on the contents of the letter. So I'm going to go find out exactly which one it is. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an amazing week. Lots of amazing guests. I had so much fun here talking to you guys. And yeah, I really, when I tell y'all I appreciate y'all, like Kevon and Jade, when I tell y'all, it's been a while, isn't it? I appreciate you guys.
Aww.
I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I look forward to coming here, even on the nights when I don't sleep. But
But one thing we going to do is keep for Azem.
watch out, right? I don't tell her I stop trying to get between me and Witty, you know. Morning, Witty. Morning, Witty. But yeah, guys, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Buckle up. Don't speed to get home before the curfew. Don't let anybody cough in your face. And of course, we always have to remember, as we hear from the Duke of Frigate Bay, the Prosecco Papi himself, the Chapstick Don, Slim God, the Pope of Hygiene, the one who has all the female guests going wild.
Literally all in
all of them. The man himself.
It's not my fault. I'm a regional product.
Okay.
Diversify your economy.
Okay. You hear what?
As a matter of fact, I'm going to stop talking because now it's time for Kevon Hanley.
But remember that you are not me, so you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. See you tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, Monday.